Welcome everyone to the second session of our online series, Innovation Leadership in Africa. We're excited again to have this opportunity to highlight and celebrate the leaders and innovators that are transforming Africa today and into the future. This includes the online series that we'll enjoy this evening, which started July 20th, and you'll enjoy 2 more sessions until September 25th, which will be followed by an on-site event on October 18th to 19th at Africa Business School in Rabat, Morocco. So stay tuned for more exciting news. I'm Dr. Karina R. Jensen. I'm a professor in OB Leadership and Innovation at Africa Business School and a co-leader of global research and practice at the ISPIM Innovation Leadership SIG. So before getting started, I'd like to mention the co-sponsors of this special series, UM6P Africa Business School and ISPIM, the International Society for Professional Innovation Management. UM6P, Université Mohammed VI Polytechnique, Africa Business School, is a leading university and business school in Morocco that serves as a catalyst in transforming leaders and organizations for the future of work in Africa and beyond. And ISPIM is the oldest and largest global innovation network of researchers and practitioners with over 4,400 members from over 100 countries. The Innovation Leadership Special Interest Group was formed to address the role of leadership and facilitating innovation with the purpose of empowering leaders who can inspire, connect, engage to drive innovation and create greater impact. So for our second session on optimizing collaborative innovation and co-creation, we'll enjoy an exchange with impressive leaders that are driving innovation in Africa and internationally. Our guest speakers will share their perspectives and experience in leading initiatives for leadership development and innovation in Africa. Our esteemed international guest speaker, Bettina von Stamm, she's Senior Expert of Sustainability at B5 at Unternehmertum. She'll provide us with an overview through her expertise and perspectives in collaborative innovation and co-creation. It gives me great pleasure and honor to invite her to this session. She's a visionary and leading thinker in innovation, has been so for almost 30 years. I've been very impressed with her work, from founding the Innovation Leadership Forum, serving as a advisory board member to ISPIM and the Global Institute of Innovation. She's been a great influencer and has contributed great value and inspiration for everyone in the innovation community. And then following Bettina's talk, we'll welcome our distinguished panel of speakers. So welcome, Bettina.
Thank you very much. I am absolutely delighted to be able to join you today. And Karina, thank you so much for the opportunity. My great pleasure to be with everyone here today. And those who know me know that I can talk about innovation for absolute ever, which is why I have scripted what I want to share to make sure that I stay within the allotted time frame. I also would like to share a couple of slides, just because I think it's easier to have some visuals with what I'm talking about to keep it all in the background. So if I need to share the slides, that's fine. If someone, well, actually I can do it from my side because they are right here. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. I should just call them up. I don't know whether something, they are, there we are, perfect. And of course, you know that the title of the session is Optimizing Collaborative Innovation and Co-Creation. And to set the scene, I would like to take a step back and share my reasoning why collaborative innovation and co-creation have become so important in our times. And it is really intimately connected with the key characteristics of the 21st century, VUCA. And I assume that most of you will have heard of VUCA. Just quickly to summarize what it stands for. Volatile stands for referring to the speed, volume, and kind of, or the degree of change. U stands for uncertainty, which describes the difficulty to predict events and understand connections between cause and effect. And complex is arising from the degree of interconnections and that they are difficult to predict. And the final one, the A, stands for the fact that it is generally possible to have more than one interpretation, and all interpretations are equally valuable. So a good while ago, I'll ask myself, what has created these conditions, and have arrived at the 5 C's, as I call them. You can go to the next, I don't know whether I'm moving the slides or someone else is doing it, but you can go to the next slide if you like to. The first C is the acceleration of change. And people often argue that change was always part of our life. I could not agree more, but the rate at which change has been introduced since the beginning of this millennium has increased considerably. You may ask what it was that has enabled this increase in the rate of change. The short answer is the proliferation of the internet. That also gives rise to my second C, connectivity. In recent years, we have experienced again and again how connected and interwoven our world has become. Whether it was the financial crisis back in 2008 and 9, where the collapse of Lehman Brothers in the United States caused a worldwide financial crisis. The eruption of an Icelandic volcano no one can pronounce that played havoc with global flight schedules back in 2010. Or the container ship Ever Given stuck in the Suez Canal in 2021 that affected supply chains in so many industries. And of course, the COVID pandemic that started in 2020 spread right around the globe. And finally, the Ukraine war that many had thought would never be possible until it became a reality in 2022. For me, there are 2 main implications of that connectivity. Almost unlimited access to information, which creates transparency, which is great because it helps to create greater awareness. And the second aspect of that connectivity is speed. The moment something is uploaded, that information is available instantly to everyone, everywhere. While that is brilliant too, it also leads to expectations of instantaneous decision-making, even though we may not have all the necessary information available to us at that point in time. My third C is what I call convergence. You could also call it the disappearance of boundaries. It is in the last century, industries seem to have clear boundaries. Supermarkets sold food, insurance companies insurance, telecom companies provided telephony-related services, and so on. There was a clear distinction between products and services too, as there was between our personal and professional lives. But who today only answers business-related communication, emails, during working hours? The boundaries have become blurred. The fourth C stands for the consumer. To access all that information, to be able to access all that information means that we are more informed and with that more demanding than ever. My second C, the connectivity combined with the technologies that are available today, make it possible for us to get involved and share our opinions in ways that were unthinkable 20 years ago. Think about crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, co-development, co-creation, of course. And the fifth C is, in view, the most powerful and urgent one, is the challenges to humanity. Perhaps it should rather be challenges to our planet and all who live on her. Think about poverty and starvation, wars and terrorism, destruction of the environment, and loss of biodiversity. And I am aware that complexity is one of the elements of VUCA. Can go to the next slide. But to me, it is the most critical one. Oh, I can do that as well. There we are. It is because complexity that we need to learn fast on how to optimize collaborative innovation and co-creation. Hereby, it is really important to distinguish between complex and complicated. A complicated system we can understand if we study it, analyze it, and take it apart. What is more, based on past behavior, we can not only predict, but also influence how a complicated system will behave in future. In contrast, how long we study and analyze a complex system, and even though there are some governing rules of complex systems, we will not be able to predict how it will behave in the future. In order to embrace, or perhaps match is a better word, that complexity, there are more C's. We need to learn to do things concurrently. There is no time to do things sequentially as we have been doing for so long. It is therefore not surprising that Agile has taken off like wildfire. The only way to do things concurrently is, of course, collaboration. And here it is critical that it is not about collaborating with people we have always collaborated with, but it is about collaborating with people who are very different from us. We need to collaborate with people with whom we never thought to collaborate, people with different mind and value sets. And anyone who has engaged in collaboration across diversity, as I call it, knows that preconceptions, prejudices, and language differences can easily get in the way, even if we are all speaking the same language, or at least think to do. And it leads to misunderstanding, disagreement, and conflict quite easily. Yet, we need such collaboration not only to be able to embrace complexity, we also very urgently need such collaboration if we want to address the environmental and social challenges of our time, which I assume we do, in the interest of our children and children's children. And we need innovation like never before, and radical innovation as such. Why radical innovation? Continuing on the current trajectories will destroy our planet ever faster. Why ever faster? Our planet is a highly complex system made up of more highly complex systems. And complex systems don't display linear, but exponential behavior, as we have seen with the unexpectedly faster increase in global temperatures, unexpected acceleration of the melting of the polar ice, and so on. We need to move out of our current trajectories, created predominantly by the so-called developed world. Herein lies a particular opportunity for the developing and emerging countries. While the developed world faces an uphill struggle to change long-established systems, processes, and cultures, developing and emerging countries have a unique opportunity to learn from the mistakes of developed countries and leapfrog them. The only way to create the radical innovation we need to bring different bodies is to bring different bodies of knowledge together. In other words, we need to co-create. And finally, we need to care deeply about each other, about our planet, and the future of our children, to commit to optimizing collaborative innovation and co-creation, despite all the challenges it might pose. 10 minutes. I'm done.
Thank you so much for this very inspirational start to our session on collaborative innovation and co-creation. I very much appreciated Dr. Bettina von Stamm. And we will now enjoy insights from our distinguished speaker panel. So I'd like to introduce Muyiwa Fasakin, the founder of Global League of Creative Intelligence based in Nigeria. And we also have Tony Ija, a co-founder of Innovation Hub Africa in Nigeria. And we may also have joining with us Stefan Corridon, president of Anansi Academy Ivory Coast. We will see if he will join us at a later stage. And so just to the audience, and you see the reminder there as well, to remind everyone that please feel free to comment, post your questions in the chat section. We will have Q&A following our initial session with the panel speakers. And so it'll be an open exchange with all. So we look forward to hearing from you. Okay, so I'd like to start by inviting our guest speakers to tell us a little bit more about your current role and how you view collaborative innovation within your professional context. So tell us a little bit more about your work and the role of collaborative innovation.
Okay, do I go first?
Sure, let's start with you, Tony.
All right, thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone. My name is Tony. I am the Program Director of Nigeria Innovation Summit, and it's one of the initiatives of Innovation Hub Africa. And what we do on the platform through the initiative is to bring in all the critical stakeholders in the Nigerian innovation ecosystem to have a conversation. That's number one. Then number two, to build a connection. Now, the third one is to collaborate and build a community that will activate innovative solutions that will address local needs in Nigeria. And over time, we have seen participations from others beyond Nigeria. Now, through this initiative, we have noticed that there are a lot of innovators and great minds who come together, and they have seen us as a central actor in this ecosystem, and they kind of come and say, hey, we need like solution seekers and solution providers. Now, those looking for who among our network that we address a peculiar need that they have. That is where we build this collaboration that will lead to solving a peculiar solution for people within our community and those outside our community. So one of the things we do in Nigeria Innovation Summit or through the summit is to be a central point where we do open innovation actually. So that platform actually will be up by the end of this year. So what do? We see people who have ideas on how a process, for instance, can be improved for a certain organization, or idea can be formed, or a product can be improved on. Now, what do we do here? We help these creators or innovators, connect them with solution seekers whose need falls in within the solution that they can bet for them. So that is exactly what it is. Now, through what we are doing, we have seen that it is a kind of a shift from a competitive mindset. You know, people kind of like, oh, this is our organization, we are innovative, we want to innovate better than you. We have seen that the best form of competition in the current dispensation is collaboration. Just like Bettina mentioned, if we are to address the challenge that the world, our society is facing right now, we need not just innovation, we need a radical innovation. I saw her mention the word agile, and that has to be very much agile. Now, thank God that through the COVID-19, the digital environment, the digital landscape got to the mainstream. So it is not bound by boundary. So if we are to have an experience of knowledge sharing right now, anybody within the ecosystem, within our ecosystem, for instance, those that are in the northern part of Nigeria, those that are in the southern part of Nigeria, and you have an answer. For instance, there's an organization that was looking for a way to address a particular problem. They threw in a challenge. It was an innovation challenge. What did we do? Those within our ecosystem, we say, hey, this is the need, and this is the problem. This is the kind of solution they want to do. And we'll see one or two people come together from two different locations to provide the answer to the need of this particular organization. This is one of the things we do in the ecosystem in Nigeria through our program in the Nigeria Innovation Summit. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. So Muyiwa, let's hear from you. You could share a bit more about your current work and the role of collaborative innovation.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Karina, for having me. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right, good. So, okay, so we do a lot here, and but let me start with what we believe in. And I started this slogan recently. I said, innovate or you die. Innovate or you die. DIE. That's diminished innovative energy. It's either you innovate, but if you're not innovating, it's because you are having a diminishing innovative energy. So there's what we call DIE, and the other part is IE, that's increasing innovation. innovative energy. So that slogan or that belief or that mindset that is either you are innovating or you die gave us the strength to create the Global League of Creative Intelligence Certified Coaches. Now, so the Global League of Creative Intelligence Certified Coaches, they are in 22 countries of the world. So what we do is that we train different people, professionals, coaches, teachers, business people on applied creativity. By implication, that is innovation. When you apply creativity, that's innovation. So we train people on how they can apply creativity to their business, to their whatever they are doing, the coaching, the job, vocation. So when they understand the reason why they can apply, creative intelligence to all that they do, okay, they're able to go to their countries and implement that mindset in whatever vocation they find themselves. So the mindset is one. Number one, we say if you're going to consistently be innovative, you're going to birth innovate. You're going to be consistently innovating. You're going to birth innovation in whatever you do. 3 questions must be answered. 3 questions. Number one, you must always ask yourself, what next? What next? Number 2, you should ask yourself, what more? What more? Those questions they have the capacity to birth innovation. Now, the third question is why not? Why not? So let me say the 3 questions that birth innovation quickly. Number 1, what next? If you're collaborating, you're trying to connect and collaborate and create, you consistently must ask your partners and your collaborators, what next? We have done this, what next can we do? Then when you move from what next, you move to what more? What more can we do? So if Africa will have to move to the next level with reference to innovation, we must ask ourselves, what more can we do? Then the next level is why not? We must think of everything positively beyond all limitations. That why not? Why Global League of Creative Intelligence Certified Coaches? I don't know if you can still hear me, but that's what drives us in the Global League, and we are able to get up to 22 countries of the world to believe that it is possible to apply creativity in your little space as a teacher, as a professional, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. The application of creativity consistently helps you to generate maximum. So that's the mindset we try to create around countries in Africa, helping people to apply creativity, which of course, that is innovation by proxy to whatever they do to generate optimum results and to be in either we innovate or we die. Die is diminished innovative energy. As long as you operate as leaders with a diminished innovative energy, then innovation cannot be in place. And when innovation is not in place, a lot of things will be at a loss. And that's the way I can put it. So that's what we do around Africa and beyond, with reference to the Global League of Creative Intelligence Certified Coaches. Thank you.
Thank you, Muyiwa. And to both of you, Tony, Muyiwa, you really showed us the dynamics, exciting initiatives that are helping accelerate innovation, leadership momentum in Africa. That being said, could you speak a little bit more about what you think are the mindsets and skills that are really important for collaborative innovation and co-creation in your work? What do you find are most important?
Okay, one of the mindsets, if I would talk on mindset, is a mindset that is not competitive, but one that gives room for other players to participate. A mindset that is participatory or collaborative, like we have maintained. Now, sometimes people, because of the way we have seen business done in the past, everybody wants to outcompete the other. But when you see that there is a little you can do competing against the other, but you can do much when you collaborate with whoever you feel that is at the opposite end. That is one. Then on the skill set that is critical, you look at one of the things that this digital environment has given us is people across the continent, the region, the world can combine and co-create something unique that will solve a particular market problem. So having the right digital tools, you understand, providing your solution, leveraging on emerging technology or digital technologies, because sometimes when you don't master them or know how to use them, it can limit you to what you can do with them. But when you have the right skill set in handling digital tools to solving unique problems that exist, that is also the next. Then the last one on the skill set I want to mention has to do with cultural intelligence. So having social intelligence is not enough. I think from what Benita mentioned, she said we are dealing with people from diverse background, diverse mindset, diverse upbringing, diverse behavior. Now you should, as a leader, if you are championing that innovation, be able to see how this diversity can be harnessed. So you must have that intelligence and find a way to accommodate and give people the environment, safe environment, comfortable environment for them to express themselves in the best of their ability to getting the unique kind of results that will address problems or bring solution in a way that has never been imagined before in the innovation ecosystem. I hope that helps.
Thank you, Tony. Yes, very helpful. I'd like to invite Stefan Corridon. We didn't get a chance to meet him earlier, and maybe Stefan, you could tell us a bit more about your work and how it helps shape new mindsets and skills. Oh, looks like we have a technical issue again. Well, we'll try to catch Stefan on the next connection. Muyiwa, let's hear from you. Could you tell us a bit more? I know you're doing a lot of work in training, holding seminars in Nigeria and countries, other countries in Africa. Could you tell us more about what you feel are important mindsets and competencies or skills, especially for creativity or co-creation? Oh, looks like we have another disconnect. Okay, so we will look forward to connecting with both Muyiwa and Stefan. I have to be careful how I pose my questions. I didn't push a button or something, did I? Or the wrong button, so I deleted our participants. So let's, while we're waiting for Muyiwa and Stefan, let's hear a little bit more from Tony, who enlightened us on the mindsets and skills. But I also know you have some great stories or success stories to share with us. So maybe you could share an example while we wait for our other two guest speakers. More on how you feel you've worked with an African initiative that's created impact around collaborative innovation.
Okay, first, I personally see Africa as a country, not like a continent. And it's just like people staying in America, let me say in South Africa and in southern part of that country, those in Kenya, for instance, are the eastern part, those in Morocco are the different parts. So that gives us room and shapes our mindset that, okay, if you want to do something that is worth it, you don't just play local, as it were. You should play regional. You should play regional. And through what we do in our ecosystem in the Nigerian Innovation Summit, we've been able to establish strong relationship and partnership beyond Nigeria, as it were. We have a partner that is in Ghana. What does he do? He has been able to, with his team, use some devices to create EV, electric vehicles, in their own way. It's still at the prototype stage. And at the point where they were trying to get this done, they were having some difficulties. And what did they do? Because of the relationship we have, we reached out. And within our ecosystem, we know someone also in the northern Nigeria who is doing something in that regard. Now we're able to build that connection. You understand? So that is one of the aspects on how we are being practical in what we are doing in ecosystem. Now, this mindset too, if we don't understand how Ghana is different from Nigeria, for instance. So the cultural mindset of people in Ghana is different, as it were. The whole environment actually is different. But because we know that for us to thrive and get the results that we want in this thing, we must find a way to adapt. And one of the things personally I've been to Ghana, is to understand their pace. Nigerian pace, for instance, is kind of fast. So at the starting stage of the project, when they were doing it, it looks like the young man in Nigeria who was helping out feel like the man in Ghana is kind of slower, is not moving at his own pace. But when we try to come in and say, hey, the way you walk is not the way these people walk, we're able to bring a unifying ground where both parties can walk at the pace to get the kind of result that they want. I don't know whether that makes sense.
Yeah, it gives us some additional insights and a nice look at some success stories. Because Tony, you've been part of some great initiatives too, and the upcoming Nigeria Innovation Forum included. So which is a true example of collaborative innovation, bringing together different actors and leaders and innovators. Dr. Bettina von Stammer asked for your perspectives too, and you've listened to insights from Tony and Muyiwa. What are your thoughts in terms of the mindsets and skills and creating greater collaborations and co-creation opportunities in Africa?
Yeah, I think, I'm delighted by what Tony said, because I just could not agree more. This competitive mindset is one of the biggest obstacles, and of course, it's I sometimes also wonder sort of where it comes from. Why do we? Well, for me, it is also related that we believe there is one right way of doing things, and we're looking for this one right way. If we assume there is one right way, then only one of us can be right, and the others must be wrong. And I was wondering why that is, where that comes from. And I believe it starts with our education, where in school, the first thing we learn is, to find, or we try to do, is to find the right answer. And if we are not finding the right answer, if we're giving a different one, or if we're asking questions about what is considered to be the right answer, we are considered to be difficult or challenging or awkward or whatever it might be. So we're always attempting to find this one right answer. And so, of course, when then alternative answers pop up, and I think, this is so deeply embedded in our thinking that we are not even aware that we have this belief that there is one right answer. But of course, as soon as someone brings up different ideas and different opportunities and possibilities, then there's sort of in the back of our mind is the question, so which one is the right answer? And of course, mine is the right answer. Or if someone wants to change something, does it mean I've been doing things wrong previously? And so I think one of a mindset, one of an attitude is that is critical, especially in our times, is to say, there is no right or wrong. There is only something that is most appropriate given a particular context and a particular point in time. And if you are having that mindset, if someone proposes a change, but if someone has a different opinion, then you can ask, maybe it is more appropriate for your context, or we need a change because the context around it has changed. And in the introduction, I talked about how much change is happening and how fast change is happening, i.e., so the need to find new and different ways of doing things is becoming more and more critical. So the mindset is one of openness and allowing different things to be equally valid. And I think now we've lost Tony as well. He's dropped off. Something is happening.
Yes. So we what kind of karma is out there? Well, it just goes to show the challenges of collaborative innovation in a hybrid or digital mode, because we're still working on ensuring strong connections, strong networks. And so this is always a challenge when collaborating across cultures and across regions. And so we'll open it up until we are hoping, I'm sending good karma out there, that our three speakers will return to us, they're across the African airwaves. And we go. It worked.
It worked.
So we've got Tony, and we're still waiting for Muyiwa and Stefan. But in the meantime, we'll open it up. Thanks for your additional perspectives, Dr. Bettina. And I think it's a good time to open it up to the audience. And I think we have several questions. I'll start it off with, I just see one query here is from Alicia Lewandowska for you. Bettina, that would be, as an expert and thought leader in the field of innovation, what are some of the books or web pages that you'd recommend to keep up?
I mean, the number of good books on innovation are almost countless. So it is very difficult to start. Of course, I could start with my own books, which always seems a little bit arrogant, but of course I'm most familiar with them. So there is a textbook that I have written some years ago called Managing Innovation, Design and Creativity, which covers, which I mentioned because I think innovation requires a very holistic approach. It requires us to understand lots of different aspects of our business or of our context in order to create the conditions where innovation can thrive. And I hope that in that book I've covered a broad variety of topics I believe those who want to innovate need to understand. And then, of course, John Besant, who is also a firm part of the ISPEM community. I don't even know how many books he has written from all different angles on entrepreneurship and innovation and service innovation. I mean, he's got, as I said, he's got so many books that he's written, and he's also got a website where he offers a lot of information. I mean, I gladly, if it is of interest, I gladly, if you would see beyond the screen that is here, you would see a wall of books behind me, and I gladly have a look and think about which ones might be good books to start the journey. If that is of any help, I gladly put a reading list together.
Thank you, Bettina. Eugene Francis has been quite active in the chat and he made an interesting statement about process, the importance of having a sound process in place. What does that mean to collaborative innovation, Tony? What are your perspectives there?
Okay, if we are to, we are talking about optimizing collaborative innovation, and then leadership needs to play a role to give direction to the way things should go. Now, for some people, who might be part of the system, some of them, yes, they have their ideas in isolation. So it's up to the person who is the center of the activity to know how to coordinate. And he or she must master the steps from ideation to execution. You understand? If you miss any part of the process, you will not get the results that you desire. I don't know whether I'm making sense. So process is critical. Right process is critical. And then with the mobility of knowledge and knowledge sharing that we have, leveraging digital technology, it is important sometimes you can leapfrog using certain technology or technological tools to get result. But then you must know from point A to point Z what you want, but at what point, what should happen? Like we mentioned, like Bettina mentioned about the agility of this innovation, which must happen radically and fast. Certain time, it shouldn't take, if you leverage certain technology in the process, we should look at, okay, how do we, yes, this process should go A, B, C, D. But with digital technology, with AI, with all of these modern emerging tools, we can jump A to D, but it still falls in within what we need to getting the result that we want in Z. I don't know whether what I'm saying is making sense.
What
Yeah. I would just love to add if I may, because I agree that a good process is really, really important. And yet, if we have got people who have got a closed and competitive mindset, you can have the best process in the world and innovation will not happen. So yes, absolutely, process is a key element. But if I should choose a good process or an appropriate mindset, I think I would favor the appropriate mindset, because people, if they've got this desire, if they've got the openness, they will make things happen, also without a process. You know, I'm not saying that the process is not important. Absolutely not. It is very important. But if I had to choose, I know where I would put my energy.
So let's, do we have other questions from the audience? Others who, any thoughts that came up, comments or questions that you'd like to share for our Q&A? I see Ajit Paul just added one. Would collaborative innovation need to be different in the divergent phase of innovation? So ideation and the convergent phase, so trials and prototype. Tony, what are your thoughts there? Oh, or Bettina, whoever's online.
Right. Well, I think what is required is an awareness of everyone in which phase we are. I'm not quite sure that the way we collaborate is different. Even though what might be important to understand is who has got the mindset to open up and to nurture ideas and to grow ideas and to go really broad, and who is a mindset that helps to close down, so that we are, when we are collaborating, that we are aware of the different skill set that people contribute, so that we can perhaps listen a little bit more. If someone in the early stages wants to shut it down and control it and to narrow it, we can say, well, your turn comes later when we need to select and focus more. So I think a good understanding what each person in the collaborative setting can offer, has to offer, where their strengths are, that is really important. And maybe I can mention a tool that I personally really, really appreciate by another person who's been connected with ISPEM at some point in time and has been speaking, is Natalie Turner with her book, The 6 Eyes of Innovation. This is not the 6 eyes like the eyes, but eyes with a dot on it, where she's identified 6 distinct roles that are all needed in order to innovate successfully, and each is relevant at the different stage of the journey. And so the thing that she's done with her framework is she's linked personal skills, preferences, and contributions to different stages of the innovation journey. And so an awareness like who is got really strong at which point of the journey can be really, really helpful. I don't think you need different mindsets. You need an awareness of what mindsets are in the room.
Excellent. It gives us some valuable insights.
Sorry, I'm
back. Tony, you're back with us.
I lost you there. Yes, the network went off. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, we had a question around a collaborative innovation in the front end and within execution. So, looking at what may be the differences for collaborative innovation in looking at ideation versus execution.
Okay. I didn't get the question.
Yeah, any last thoughts there?
I didn't get the question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I did not get the question. Can you rephrase the question again?
Okay, it was a question from Ajit Paul on collaborative innovation, if it needs to be different in the divergent phase, so the ideation front end, and the convergent phase in developing the prototype, delivering the final solution.
With collaborative.
And it's on the screen as well.
Okay, just like I mentioned when Eugene talked about process. Yes, I can see it now. For you to bet any solution from ideation to execution, you should have a pretty idea of what you want to achieve at every stage of ideation, stage of prototyping, stage of design, development, a pretty knowledge of what you want to do. But then now we are bringing in pools of people to participate in this process. It is critical that we know each person's strength in the whole flow so that it will be seamless. Maybe where I am strong is not where Eugene is strong. Maybe where Benita is strong is not where Muyiwa is strong. So, like, I love the idea of leadership at the center. For anything to happen, it falls on who is this one that is directing the orchestra? Who is the leader? You understand? So at every point, to make it so seamless, to arriving at whatever solution, at the center of everything is to know, okay, first, the mindset issue has been solved. We have seen each one of us. We are going to build this edifice. You might be a carpenter, you might be an electrician, you might be whatever you are in the system, just to say, okay, at this stage, we need you to come in. And every person who is a participator in this flow or chain of flow should be carried along. At what point should he or she come in to play his or her role that will result into this finished work? I don't know whether that makes sense.
It makes sense to me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, and I think we have answered the question well for Ajit Paul, both from Bettina's perspective and Tony's thoughts. Are you
still there?
Yes, can you hear us? So I think it's time to wrap up. We'll be wrapping up this session and maybe one last wrap-up question. Do we see any out there? Nope. One last call. Okay, so I think it'll be a good time to wrap up. I want to thank all of our guest speakers for their insights and inspirations. A special thank you to Dr. Bettina von Stamm, who truly helped us frame this session around collaborative innovation and co-creation. And a big thanks to Tony Eja, the co-founder of Innovation Hub Nigeria, who has been with us for most of this session. A big thank you to you, Tony, and you've been our digital champion, staying connected most of the time. And a big thank you to Muyiwa Fasaki, founder of the Global League of Creative Intelligence in Nigeria. We did get some insights to learn a lot about his work. It's very impressive, and at least we were able to get some of his thoughts on the mindsets and skills. We unfortunately missed Stefan Corridon, but he was here with us in spirit. He is currently traveling in Guinea and had connection problems. So I just want to thank him for being there, and we can send more information about his work. He's the president of Nancy Academy, which is a nonprofit dedicated to leadership training for youth, and who are also working on collaborative skills and innovation skills, and on the Ivory Coast. So happy to send more information about his work too. In order to wrap up, we'd also like to remind you that for the next session on September 12th at 17 hours West, Rabat, Morocco, or BST, British Standard Time, and 18 hours Central European Summer Time, we'll have a focus on orchestrating innovation across the enterprise. So make sure to mark your calendars. We'll be following up with all of you to ensure that you have the link in the invite to our next session. And we'll also have the follow-up session on September 25th around ecosystems. And last but not least, I'd like to invite all of you to a very exciting event. It will be the culmination of this online series. We are organizing an on-site workshop on innovation leadership in Africa, transforming the future. And it will be held at Africa Business School in Rabat, Morocco, where we'd like to invite you, all of you, to join us in co-creating and transforming the future agenda for research and practice in Africa and beyond. So please take a look at the link that I've shared. And we hope that we'll see many of you in Rabat come October 18th and 19th. And again, of course, see you online on September 12th and 25th for our online sessions. So thank you all. And we wish you all the best. And may inspirations and good health be with all of you, and look forward to seeing you soon.